Hello.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry. Good morning, everyone. So sorry for the delay. It's due to some technical faults over here. We are starting the program now. I want to really appreciate everyone still holding forth till now. Please can kindly invite friends and loved ones to join us. Thank you so much. The International Women's Day 2020 campaign theme is break the barriers. Today's topic on our seminar is investigating gender violence in Nigeria. Is there a media bias? It's actually in line with it's actually in line with the theme for the International Women's Day for 2022. We want to quickly go through what the seminar holds for us now and discuss along the line. Is our month, is Women's Month. I hope I'm not biased starting with this. So we go on to see what we have for us. Thank you. Let me share this one. Thank you. My name is Ayodok Mabiola Victoria, and with me is Dr. Victor Eze. I'm the deputy coordinator of this project. With me is Dr. Victor Eze, is a communication analyst, and also the coordinator of this project, in person of Mr. Vitus Ukoji. We all put hands together to bring out this rich research we are presenting today. I'll start by stating what we have now. We are looking at investigating gender-based violence in Nigeria. Is there a media bias? Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So we are investigating gender-based violence in Nigeria. We want to see the media bias. Actually, I've been looking forward to this wonderful presentation. Like I told you initially that I don't want to be biased in today's presentation. Even if I sound biased, please, I don't want to be biased, because before picking this up, even my colleagues are male, have been looking at the way I want to present this, and I'll try as much as possible not to be biased. I want to believe women there to also see what will be the end at the end of this seminar presentation. There is a growing understanding of the meaning, causes, consequence, and management of gender-based violence globally. It has moved beyond the narrow perspective of inflicting physical violence on intimate partners to all actions that culminate in gaining power and control over spouses, partner, and family member. Exercise of such power leads to physical abuse and sometimes death. In so many marriages and so many homes, there are physical abuses. It could be between the male, it may be that it's the male that is abusing the female, and in other ways, it could be the female abusing the male. It comes out in diverse forms. And as we go along in this seminar, we'll come to realize and see so many things that play out when it comes to gender-based violence. Gender-based violence leads to death of loved ones and comes in different phases in form of abuse, like suppression and oppression, which so many gender face. It could be the male, it could be the female, subjugating one another in marriage, with the aim of intimidating or creating punishments, abuse in form of physical, sexual, financial abuse that can lead to psychological trauma and mostly lead to death, like Campbell 2003 said this. Some months back, it was recorded in Nigerian World Database that a man that wanted to punish the wife, instead of physically abusing her or coming in another form, he killed 3 of their children. It comes in, it created psychological trauma to her. So this abuse could come in different forms. It could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be psychological, it could be financial, it could be sexually. It comes in different ways. Nigeria is grappling with increased rate of domestic violence, though spread across several states. Its prevalence is higher in some states. For instance, Lagos State recorded a 134% increase in case of rape, defilement, and domestic violence, while 2,356 cases of gender-based violence were treated in 2018, and 1,312 higher than 1,044 cases treated in 2017. These instances shows the rising incidence of domestic violence in Nigeria and shows the everyday assaults that could have preceded the untimely attack. Gender-based violence refers to harmful acts directly or an individual based on their gender. It is rooted in gender inequality. There has been so many gendered words that has been used. You could see this coming in gender inequality, the abuse of power, and harmful norms. Like United Nations High Commission for Refugee 2022. There are so many abusive practices that are being carried out when it comes to gender-based violence. There are some that are silent, that the victim may not be able to come out to say it out. There are some that you could see the abuse physically on the victim. There was an instance in which a woman died. It was also recorded in Nigerian Watch data. A woman died when the husband refused to give her food and locked her in a room in the house. That is another form of gender-based violence. Though not until she died, that was when people noticed that she has been starved of food and she was left to die. Gender-based violence is a serious violation of human rights and has a life-threatening health and protection issue. It is estimated that 1 in 3 women will experience sexual or physical violence in their lifetime. During the displacement and time of crisis, the threat of gender-based violence significantly increased for women and girls in war zone areas, where in areas in which bandits carries out attack and then other insurgents. The rate of gender-based violence is very high. Gender-based violence could in the form of physical, emotional, psychological, another form, like I've earlier said, and it could be abuse meted against individual or a group. Gender-based violence includes sexual, physical, mental, economic harm inflicted in public or in private. It also includes threat of violence, coercion, manipulation. This can take any form such as intimate partner violence, which is so common. That is the one we all know. When a man abuses his wife or when a woman abuses the husband, this is, we know, and we hear of this frequently. This can also take any form such as intimate partner violence, sexual violence, child marriage, female genital mutilation, and so many so-called crime in the society. Statement of the problem. It has been established that there are gender-based violence in the society. What are the steps, or how do we see it? How is the public seeing it? How are we seeing it individually? And to what extent are we going to help the situation? The media has a great influence on gender-based violence, as it provides information on the people with the trends, patterns, reaction, consequence. It also educates the public on the different ways gender-based violence has been battled in rural and urban centers in Nigeria. However, it is argued that gender-based violence is underreported in some parts of Nigeria due to religious belief and cultural affiliations. Such calls into question the objectivity of media reportage on gender-based violence in Nigeria. Not only has the media frame of gender-based violence in Nigeria affected the general conception about the phenomena, it has influenced the level of government involvement in rolling out policies that tackles the surge headlong. With the increase in gender-based violence and associated deaths, it has become necessary to investigate the role of media, especially with many Nigerians believing that the media has been judgmental, biased, and imbalanced. Let's quickly look at the objective for this research for the day. This presentation has the following objectives. They outline the total number of fatalities resulting from gender-based violence from 2006 to 2021 in Nigeria, to establish the number of fatalities by gender, to establish the number of fatalities by states, to investigate the media bias in the reportage of gender-based violence. Methodology. In the past few months, at the onset of this research work, we did comprehensive methodology of this research for like 3 months. I'm going to continue from this methodology. Data from this report was extracted from Nigerian Watch Data, an online database on native violence in Nigeria that extract data from 10 Nigerian daily newspapers selected based on their regional strengths. You can get this through www.nigerianwatch.org. That's how you can contact us. Period under review covered from 2006, when Nigerian Watch was battered in Nigeria, to 2021. Nigerian Watch contextualized gender-based violence as a form of violence that takes place within the household environment with reported fatalities. So what we're having here today are from Nigerian Watch database, it must have at least a death. We are not looking at other physical abuses coming from the society, and we are actually focusing on the no deaths, at least one death. Either the male victim, whether a male or a female victim, just at least one death. Many gender-based violence do not result in death, but other forms of physical and physiological and such non-violent incidents were not captured in this paper, like I earlier explained. The quantification of violence has not occupied the front burners of research in Nigeria. One of the reasons for such is that crime statistics by the police and other government agencies are either unavailable, too restrictive, or not reliable. Hence, the Nigerian Watch database systematically tracks various led violence across Nigeria to address the paucity of data on violence and its victims in Nigeria. Nigerian print media remains one of the most advanced in Africa, yet it is insensitive to sexual disaggregated data, which would have aided separate collection and analysis of data on males and females. Accurate reportage of figures pose a challenge to Nigerian Watch as they rely on reported incidents on the newspapers, some of which are overreported, underreported, or duplicated. Regardless of this limitation, the database aids a better understanding of trends of gender-based violence in Nigeria. Once we go to the results and findings because of this research, we look at the results, discussion of the findings that will help us to see what to come up with the research for today. Fatalities from gender-based violence from 2006 to 2021. From 2021 to 2006, gender-based violence account for 832 deaths between March 2006 to March 2022 in 746 incidents. This includes domestic violence committed by someone in the victim's domestic cycle, partner or ex-partners, immediate family members. The finding affirmed the notion of gender-based violence has been on the increase in recent times, rising from 19 fatalities in 2006 to 87 in 2001. It accounted for violence incidents in gender-based violence account for 832 deaths between June 2006 to March to 2021. Sorry for that. Trying to correct that now. So we have selected cases of this gender-based violence. In reporting of this is where the media framing comes up. In reported, we have so many reports. Like this is a typical example of the Nigerian Watch database, and it's stating how a violent incident was reported. Categorically, if it is a male that kills a female, there are ways in which the media will frame and report it. like I told you, today I'm not going to be biased in my research. We want to break every bias. If it is a female that kills a male, there are ways in which the media comes up with the reportage. These are some of the cases that were highlighted. You can also further go to Nigerian Watch Data and then see the way the print media comes about reporting violence against male and female. And this is also another one saying two lovers, a man and an ex-lover, lost their lives, after setting themselves ablaze. If you're going further, you will see some biases coming up with these reports. It was reported that the woman, look at the way it was reported, the woman, Oluchi, wanted to set the man ablaze for leaving her to another lady, but the man held her, causing both of them to be burned by the inferno. Looking at this case, it's the initial perpetrator of this is the woman. The way it was reported, like putting a blame on her. If we go further, we'll see other reportage and we'll see the way it is framed when it comes to reporting domestic issues. Looking at this one, it's saying a man identified as Ayodele Andrew Bankole killed his girlfriend. The 26-year-old man killed the lady, attempting to escape but was caught by the police. The victim was found in the pool of her blood with fresh injuries on her neck and chest. As we go further in this research, we'll come to see the bias. There are some biases which media are framing about gender-based violence in Nigeria. But let's quickly look at other findings that came up in the course of this research. Then we'll go back to the framing and how it was, how it's used to be reported and the media biases in some of these reports. Fatality by gender from 2006 to 2021. It was recorded that 556 female were killed by male in Nigeria from 2006 to 2021, and 276 male were killed by female. The 56 female killed represents 67% of the overall gender-based fatality. Why that of 276 male that were killed represented 3% fatality. Comparing this 67% female killed to 33% male killed. According to the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime, the global rate of female victims of homicides by immediate partner was around 1.3 victims per 10,000 female population. And looking at this by states, it was recorded that Lagos State has the highest number of deaths from the graph shared on our screen. And Lagos State recorded the highest number of fatality, which is 170 deaths, followed by Ogun State, which is 74, Delta 38, Ebonyi and Oyo State, which is 32 each. So we could see by state that Lagos State has the highest, Ogun State, Delta, Ebonyi, Oyo states. And the question is, has there no been gender-based violence in the north? And the question is, are there not been gender-based violence in some parts of the east? And why is it that it's in the southwest that we have this high number of deaths? In 2018, 23 cases of later gender-based violence were recorded in Lagos State. The event resulted in 26 fatalities. One of the outstanding incidents of in December occurred on this gender-based violence occurred in December. And one of it is on the 30th, when a woman and her 3 children were set ablaze at Abule area of IFRA-Nigeria, Lagos State, by an estranged male lover. Also in July 2018, 2 babies were killed by their mothers in Lagos State. Like I earlier said, at times the victims, they use this as a weapon to punish their partners. While a 7-month-old premature baby was thrown into a septic tank in Nigeria local government by a mother. A 2-year-old boy was also thrown into a well in Ikorodu. All these violence, gender-based violence, were recorded in Lagos. So this accounts for one of the reasons why we have high figure in gender-based violence. And distributing by local governments, it could be analyzed that Ojo local government, Ifako, Ikorodu has the leading incident of domestic violence in Lagos State. And the question is, any media bias in all of these incidents? The media strives to be objective in the reporting of events in the society. However, the media are also not 100% objective in their cases, in most cases. This is why the media gives more attention to some events and exclude other events. Tankard et al. 1991. The primary source for gender-based violence data in Nigerian Watch data are newspaper. The newspaper. The newspaper, which are media contents. A qualitative content analysis of the primary source is the database review the following biases, the media reportage of gender-based violence. 1, the rural-urban reporting bias, in-house style of media organization, employment of sensationalism of flash headlines, patriarchal approach to reporting. I want to call on my colleague to pick up from this. Thank you. Okay. He will join us, he will link up soon. So going back by the biases the media portray. They portray so many biases when it comes to gender reportage. There are so many biases attached to media, to gender-based reporting, based on like rural urban reporting, like it was clearly shown above that Lagos State has one of the highest gender-based violence in Nigeria. Probably is based in urban area. And the question is, okay, the question is, are there no gender-based violence in the rural area? Have there not been killings and abuses in some of our local areas? I will continue. My colleagues will meet up soon. They will link up with us and we'll continue from there. So let's look at the rural-urban reporting bias. For every 50 gender-based violence incidents in Nigerian Watch database, 40 of such incidents are geo-located in the urban communities. The implication is that 80% of the reported gender-based violence are drawn from the cities, while only 20% of incidents that happens in the rural communities are reported. This is a strong bias in the sense that a lot of gender-based violence that happens in the rural communities are not reported or brought to the limelight. Most of such violence is perceived as normal way of life, as most of them are supported by sociocultural disposition of several communities. This has implication in the effort to stamp out gender-based violence, as improper reportage means that the gender-based violence will continue to thrive in the rural communities, as the eyes of the media being mainly on urban environments. Looking at the in-house style of media organizations. A qualitative content analysis of various newspaper sources indicates that most of the media houses do not give prominence and enough size to stories of gender-based violence. Going through some newspapers like the Daily Trust, the Vanguard, the Nation, like some of the samples that will be seen below. Also, findings indicate that most of the media houses do not also employ thematic style of reportage, as they focus mainly on episodic news reportage on gender-based violence. This tends to create tension in the society, as the media do not often suggest ways of ending violence. Like in some of this reportage, you could see that they will emphasize so much on what could, at times it could stir conflicts. It could lead to like bringing out, taking sides in some of the reportage we have, like the headlines we have here saying, the headline here saying, jealous wife stabs husband to death in Nasarawa. For God's sake. Is it that she's jealous, or the media tends to paint her to be jealous? Did she confess that she's jealous herself? Even if she had confessed that she's jealous, there are ways in which medias are expected to frame this so that there will be no biases, so that there will be no label. You know, seeing this, at times, the house tends to exaggerate or paint incidents in a way that will market them, and thereby causing a kind of conflict to the public in the way issues are portrayed. Look at another example. Man in remand over daughter's death. Not going into details of incidents that happened. I think this is a but in media. There is need to state how the incident happens, to also indicate if it's still under investigation, and also to quell conflicts that may want to arise, or anger or grievance that wants to arise from incidents of such. But better still, the media goes around portraying the style they know best in making their market, in selling their market better to the public. This one, man kills wife, self in Delta, is another way media portray their style in writing. Another could be employment of sensationalism. In a bid to sell out the newspaper, most media houses go for sensational stories that can help them achieve their goals, with the primary drive to sell out the newspaper or to make more money from adverts. The media tends to exclude some incidents, including gender-based violence incidents, in their reportage. In some of this reportage, you will see like few lines of reporting gender-based violence. And at that time, the media would have been, the reportage would have just been biased enough to show their stance.
Only one online seminar. Only one online seminar. No.
So biased enough
IFRA-Nigeria
to speak out their mind. And at that point, you will see a few lines to bring out the headings, and few words to explain what has happened. And at times, those explanations are not conclusive. Those explanations could prone one to violence or take sides in the reportage. Even when the media report gender-based violence incidents, they tend to exclude incidents which may not attract much attention from the public. Here, gender-based violence incidents such as psychological abuse, economic abuse, and even sexual abuse are often not captured in the media. Most of the media tends to only report gender-based violence incidents of death, as that attracts the attention of the reading Nigerian public. Another fact to look into is the patriarchal approach to reporting. Nigeria is a patriarchal society. Men always have the upper hand. No matter what, men will always be given kudos. I'm not biased now. Please, I'm not biased. I'm just expressing what I know my country practice. The Nigerian society is a patriarchal society where the male gender is viewed as a strength and an ebullience, while the female gender is depicted as a weak vessel. This sense of strength and weakness are also witnessed in the media reportage of gender-based violence. The media tends to work with the same view of men as symbol of strength and the women as symbol of weakness. The implication of this is that certain incidents of violence meted against women by men are either unreported or reported with casual tones, with no serious violence attached. We could see in some reportage that there are some things that are underreported, like some culture in Nigeria, if a male marries more than one wife, is not, the society sees it as a normal norm, like a norm in the society. And there could be little or no attention to the media or reported. Even if it has to be reported, it could be like reporting with joy, celebrating, merriment. But if a woman dares tries it, the media, the society, the report, even it will be reported everywhere. The painting and the way it will be portrayed will even steer so many things in the mind of people around. So, the culture and the norm of our society favors a particular gender, sex to another, and celebrates them even to another. Looking at patriarchal, such patriarchal mentality makes it hard for victims of rape, even with this, because at times issues that need to be reported in a fair manner, if they are not reported, it will make such to be, it makes it hard for victims, at times for victims of rape and another gender-based violence incident to report crime to the appropriate authority. Even when they report to the authorities, they are further subjected to trauma and made jest of by some law enforcement agents. Like a medical doctor was telling me of an incident where he discovered a man raped a lady, and they took the incident to the police station. And the question they asked the lady was that, why did you allow him? And the lady said she was raped. And the question is, raped where? In the bedroom or where? The question alone could not make the lady to come up than to go to the hospital for treatment. In the course of the treatment, that was when the doctor intervened and asked the perpetrator to come also. On getting there, the doctor was able to get the perpetrator, and from there he was arrested, and the case, the lady was able to win the case. And at times in the society, the way rape victims are handled, it could be traumatizing. Coming out even to voice out will be a big challenge to some of these victims, and is the way the media, is the way the media and the society are seeing this incident. With this presentation, I want to believe it has really there has been justice to the research question and above, and I want to believe there will be more questions and comments after now. Thank you so much. I'll call on the coordinator of this project, Mr. Vitus Okoji, to take over from here. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. We still apologize for the little hitches we had initially. I'll be able to rectify it. So my colleague has done justice to the topic of today, and it's a burning issue in Nigeria now. There are rising incidents of gender-based violence every state. But like she mentioned, some states have more incidents than the others. One, because of the population of the state, like we know Lagos. There's no way we compare the incidents in Lagos with other states, because it's the rate of urbanization. We see a fair rate of crime in the states. Then the number of people living in the urban centers will still have impact on the number of gender-based violence we'll be recording. So it's actually interesting to know that our topic today has made us understand now the trends, the patterns, the consequences of gender-based violence in Nigeria. So at this point, we would like to welcome your messages, your questions, your comments, your reactions to the topic that was presented. Hello. Oluwa Toyin. Okay. All right.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear we can. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this seminar series. Thank you also to the presenter. I really enjoyed your presentation. So what I would like to ask, what I would like to say, I'm not really asking. What I would like to say is that truly there is a difference in the way that the media report incidences of gender-based violence. And from my own observation, it seems to me like when the female is the aggressor, or when the female is the one who has committed the crime, there seems to be like a sympathetic tone given to the reporting of such incidents. And this also brings me to a current trending issue on social media now, of someone who is popular and going through a crisis in her marriage. And the husband, who is the man, has been very vocal about the fact that the relationship has been a toxic one. And what I see most people, saying or responding to the back and forth is that, oh wow, men really go through a lot. Men really put up with a lot of nonsense. Men are really suffering in marriages. And I'm like, whoa, where are all these comments when it's a woman who has just died, or it's a woman who has been mutilated, or who has been battered? And as though coincidences, I was just going through my Twitter feed and I see a post of a woman who has just been beaten by her husband, and her head, she has a cut on her head, and her side, right from her the middle of her back, of her side to like her waist, is torn. And people are showing sympathy for her. Oh wow, what has happened? I truly hope that the reaction that people have to things like this, because I mean everything, a lot of things are online now. What I truly hope that the reactions that people have when they see news about gender-based violence, whether or not the aggressor is a man or woman, is that we take a proactive step or approach to curbing this menace in our society. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, I don't want to get into the middle of any relationship or any marriage. But if you are potentially saving a life, and if you are potentially saving the psychological or mental health situation or status of children that are in such situations and environments, I think it's worth it to interfere. And I would also commend the presenter that has said that, the way that people report, the way that the tabloid reports these crimes, keeps a lot of victims from coming out in the open and talking about what they are going through. So I mean, a lot of apart from the media has a role to play in the sensitization in the way that they report. But I also feel like everyone has a responsibility to unlearn and relearn a lot of things, especially in the way that we respond online with a larger audience to reports and incidences of gender-based violence. That's all I would like to say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Oluwa Toyin. We really appreciate your comment. Still welcome more. Okay. Adao Obiago is asking, he's saying that it's interesting research. What is highly informative. would love to receive a copy for reference purposes. Adobiago, you just need to supply us with your email, then we'll forward it to you. Thank you. If you can hear me. Okay, to add to what Oluwatoyin just said, Nigeria, Africa is a patriarchal society, and one of the agitations is trying to see how people can promote gender parity. It's been a struggle that has lasted for decades. I can't actually see a headway, though there may be improvements at this moment. But if you look at the occurrence and then the media reportage of all those gender-based issues, you can still feel the subjectivity of or the bias of the reporters, like the media journalists. We've not really gone a long way, though we may be making effort, but we still have a long way to go. So what we feel, some of us feel, is that when you're reporting an issue of gender-based violence, you need to investigate for it. You don't need to lay blames. You don't need to engage in any sensationalization or sensational reportage where anybody looks at the caption, then gets interested, makes judgments. Subjective judgment. Actually capture the root cause of those incidents. So we try to promote objectivity as captured as one of the principles in journalism. It will help us to be more objective and then even involve more in investigative journalism that can change the entire society for good. So we still like to get more responses or more comments or more questions from our audience. Okay, Oluwatoyin, I've seen your email. I will send you the presentation at the end of the day. Thank you. I hope you have gotten yours too. Thank you. I will leave my colleague to see make a comment.
I'm going to invite Dr. Victor is around now, so he's going to. Okay, so he would have given more because, like I said earlier, is the communication analyst in this team. But as it is now, we want to end today's presentation. Thank you for joining us. You can get this recorded messages, the recorded seminar online. You can also visit us at www.nigerianwatch.org, or you go to IFRA-Nigerian.org. You can contact the coordinator and of Nigerian Watch in person of Vitus Ukoji for more information about Nigerian Watch. If you need to get some information or want to get some clarification, you can contact him. Then I want to really appreciate my colleagues for this brilliant work they've done in putting up this research together. I want to really thank Dr. Victor Eze. I want to thank the communication analyst. I want to thank Vitus Ukoji, the coordinator of this project. And I should also thank myself for also putting up this, for also taking this presentation. I also want to thank IFRA team for their usual support. Juliet also for our great impact in making this research work going well. And I also want to appreciate Professor McCantwell for having this kind of project in mind, for always been there for us. I just want to thank everyone. Also want to quickly remind you that our next presentation is coming up on 21st of April 2020, 12 noon. The Zoom presentation, and we are looking at mapping X-Men clashes in Nigeria, trends and trajectories. That is what we're going to look into next week at our usual time. We also look forward to seeing you again next month for a wonderful presentation. Please, if you need to listen to this over and over again, you can go to YouTube, to our YouTube link. You can get more from it. Thank you for being part of this program. Bye, everyone.
All right, thank you. Bye.